Calcasieu Parish Public Library, and I want to tell you about some books for 3rd through 5th graders. But first, I want to remind everyone to register for the summer reading program on our website at www.calcasieulibrary.org, and also remind everyone to log the books that they read. All right, so the books that I want to tell you about today are for 3rd through 5th graders, and they're actually nominated for the Louisiana Young Readers' Choice Award for this upcoming school year. All right, so the first book that I have for y'all is called The Miscalculations of Lightning Girl by Stacy Mcnulty. All right, so 12-year-old Lucy Callahan has a good reason for using the name Lightning Girl in the math forums that she likes to participate in online. So when Lucy was 8, she was struck by lightning, and as a result, she's a math genius. So she knows so much about math, so much in fact that she has actually already completed all of her homeschool requirements and gotten her GED. So she is really ready to go to college, and that's really what she wants to do. She wants to start college online, but her grandma has other ideas. So Lucy has all of these math abilities, but she also has some other little quirks that she tries to hide. So Lucy has all the numbers, just tons of numbers swirling around in her head, and she sees numbers as colors. Each number has its own distinct color and its own shape. So she has that going on. She also has her favorite mathematical constant, which is pi, which is 3.14, but then those numbers also go on forever. And so that's what she has in her head. But she loves it because she loves numbers, and so she doesn't mind. But she does have some other little OCD tendencies. So whenever she goes to sit down, Lucy has to sit, stand, sit, and then she can sit. She has to do it 3 times. And when she stops walking, she has to tap her foot 3 times. And also, if she's going to read, she has to count all of the words before she can start reading. And she's also a germaphobe. Always travels with Clorox wipes and hand sanitizer. So Lucy has mostly stayed at home. She doesn't really have friends. She has online friends, or at least she thinks she does, but she doesn't have, you know, friends that she hangs out with in real life. So her grandmother decides that instead of starting school, like college, Lucy is going to go to middle school. So, and Lucy's not happy about this, but she tells her, so her grandma tells her, you're going to need to go to 7th grade, and you have to do 1 year, and you have to make a friend, and you have to do an activity outside of the apartment, and you need to read a book that's not by a mathematician or an economist. And so Lucy's like, okay, 1 friend, 1 year, 1 activity, 1 book, I can do this, I can do this. So she makes a deal with her grandma, and I mean, surely, if you can survive a lightning strike, you can survive middle school, right? Well, if you want to find out what happens when Lucy goes to 7th grade at East Hamlin Middle, you'll need to read The Miscalculations of Lightning Girl by Stacy Mcnulty. All right, this is such a cute book, and I loved the character Lucy. She was adorable, and she does her best to try to fit in. She also tries to hide her ability. She doesn't really want people to know that she's a math genius, but anyway, very cute book. All right, so the next book that I'm going to tell you all about is called The Phantom Tower by Kier, Graf. All right, and look what it says right there. It says, once you move in, you can never move out. That sounds pretty creepy, right? So this is about some twin brothers, Mal and Colm McShane, and they have just moved from Dallas, Texas to Chicago, Illinois with their mom, who is going to be working at the University of Chicago. So they move into this really old apartment building that was built in the 1930s, and it used to be super fancy, and it was built during a time when people were very superstitious about having a 13th floor in a building. So whenever you get in the elevator and you look on the panel, there's no 13th floor. It goes from 12 to 14. And it was fancy at one time, but now it's, you know, it's a little bit dustier, and also there's not a whole lot of people living there, which they find weird because it's in a great location. So they're kind of surprised that they're able to get this apartment, but actually they didn't find it themselves. It was actually their mom, the professor that she'll be working for, Professor Parker, is the one who found it for them. And so while their mom is at work, Mal and Colm are kind of thinking maybe there's some weird things going on in their apartment and they want to do some exploring. Well, at least Colm does. He's a little more adventurous. He's also the one telling the story. But Mal would be content to just sit around and build things in Minecraft. But Colm wants to know what's going on because he thinks he hears voices, and they meet a girl, make a new friend named Tamika. They also meet a lady who lives in the apartment who's about 91 years old, and she's a princess, or so she claims, and from a country that doesn't even exist anymore. And also, they realize that from 1 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon, if they get in the elevator, there's a number 13 on the panel. Where's that 13th floor? Where does it go? What is going on? Well, if you want to find out, you'll need to read The Phantom Tower by Keir Smith. Graf, sorry. All right, so those are the 2 books that I have for y'all today. I hope you read them or read something. Please be sure to log your books, and happy reading. Bye.
For more information on the summer reading program, visit our webpage at www.calcasieulibrary.org.